This is not the greatest song in the world, no. This is just a tribute. Couldn't remember the greatest song in the world, no, no. This is a tribute, to the greatest song in the world, oh, hi. Tiny Tarot, hey, hey, what have you got to say today? I am so happy to be here. I am Low-Key Magical, aka Christina Smart, and I am here with Earl Hale, the podcast master. Earl, how are you doing today?
Fine, thank you.
Earl is with Toy Robot Productions, and Toy Robot Productions is responsible for producing Tiny Tarot, and he does such a great job. And we are also brought to you by the Divine Psychic Center in Rogers. Guess what? I am reading tarot at the Divine Psychic Center. It is so much fun over there. She has got so many beautiful tarot cards and cool witchy things and incense. You got to go see Dawn at the Divine Psychic Center. That is at let me look at this. 1500 West Walnut Street, Rogers, 72756. If you live here locally, great. Go by and see Dawn. She is wonderful. So you can call up Dawn and ask to get a tarot read if you would like to book with me, or you can just go by and see Dawn and see the fantastic shop. We appreciate her at the Divine Psychic Center. Well, Tiny Tarot is saying, let's get moving. We have a couple of other official things to say. One, Tiny Tarot is doing so well on Facebook, and that is because of you liking, sharing, subscribing. So thank you so much for checking us out on Facebook, on Instagram, on YouTube, on Spotify. And like I said, interact with those videos. Give us a thumbs up. Give us that heart, because it helps us grow. You know what else helps us grow? Donations. And we appreciate all the donations that we've received. And we are thankful for those donations going into the future. So if you'd like to look in the comments and see how you can donate to the Tiny Tarot podcast, or if you're on Facebook and you see that little give star, you can always click there. The information will be available to you. We thank you so much. All right, so I don't know if you guys listened to the last episode. We're on episode 19, isn't that right, Earl? I think we are.
It's true.
I know,
yes.
We're getting so close to episode 20. Like, oh, this was just such a crazy idea when we started. Now that we're in like 20. So this is episode 19, and the last episode was about clearing out the infection. And it was addressing I feel like a lot of tarot readers don't want to address the hard stuff. Hey, guess what I was sent here to do? Address the hard stuff. And that's great. I am completely okay, and I am embracing with addressing those things that even us as light workers, like we're the ones that give other people advice. We're the ones that people come to when they have these energetic needs and have these questions. And for us to be going, man, I don't know, this is tough for me right now. I'm having trouble answering these things. It's getting kind of crazy. So it felt really important to get that message out. So I just want to thank everybody. And if this is your first podcast and you haven't watched that one, I encourage you to go back and watch the previous episodes, especially number 18, because that one, and I'll say right now, the reason that I clear my throat is that is my channel moving in and reminding me to relax and allow these messages to come through. Thank you so much. I do appreciate that. All right. So if you have not watched, it seems as if my podcast messages have kind of grown and been a message that is weaving together to be for those that heal. I'm a bit of a light worker for other light workers and for therapists. So these deeper questions are coming through, and I'm so happy about that. I feel privileged to be the one that can channel these forward for you. So this next one, after that one being so heavy, I was channeling and I thought, all right, so what should my next topic be? That last topic was so heavy. I would sure like to lighten up. And Tiny Tarot says, how about you just lighten up? Like that'll be the topic. How do we lighten up? Because you can say to someone, hey, you need to lighten up. Hey, you need to be more positive. And you know, the way that comes across is just you need to fake being happy, even though everything around you is awful. And we know that that's an oversimplification. Saying that I'm just gonna, okay, well, I'm gonna put a sugar coat on something that's awful and walk around with a pretend smile on my face doesn't get anything done. It doesn't get anything done in the physical world, and it doesn't accomplish anything for you energetically, except to represent putting a mask over your feelings. Just like putting painkiller on something, but not taking care of what the actual wound. Right. So we need to look at how do we lighten up for real, not just talking about it and not just going, oh, you need to be all happy all the time. Things will get better for you. Or as some people do with spirituality, the opposite of that when they use it as a weapon, they go, well, you know why this awful thing happened to him because he attracted it. You know why so-and-so got that awful disease because they've been so, yeah, no, we don't use our energy or our light or any of that way either. How do we lighten up for real? Tiny Tarot, hey, that's what we want to have you say to us today. How do we, as awesome people navigating this crazy time, how do we, as light workers, as healers, moms, dads, brothers, sisters, if you've got anyone leaning on you, how do you lighten up and keep the energy around you light so that people that come to you that are not feeling light or enlightened can feel better when they leave? That's wonderful. All right, Tiny Tarot, that's the question. So I am dividing these cards into the way that I perceive are 3 equal stacks. And Earl, your energy input is you please intuitively choose stack 1, 2, or 3 today.
3.
We're going with 3. Tiny Tarot, hey. I'm excited to see what you've got to start with today. Oh, hey, Queen of Cups. Honoring that heart. Wow, I like this is really nice and direct because I have been working with this Queen of Cups energy myself quite a bit. Honoring your own heart first. If you are on an airplane and they say the oxygen mask drops down, what do they tell you to do? Put the mask on yourself first so that you know you are taken care of, and then now you have enough oxygen to take care of the person that may need help around you. And why do they say that? Because your instinct may be, especially as a mother, to reach over to the child that's next to you and attempt to put his mask on first, because that feels like what we should do. They never really talk about this whole thing. Why do they say that? Because that would be our first instinct. I've got to help my child. I've got to help my loved one. Meanwhile, the oxygen in the cabin is dwindling. And you are struggling because now you think really, let's be honest. Do you think your kid wants the mask on at this point? Everyone's panicking. Really? It's going to be a struggle. And what happens in a struggle? Your own adrenaline goes up. Your own heart rate goes up. Your need for oxygen increases during this interaction. But what have you done? You've deprived yourself of that. Now you are no good to yourself or to the child that you were trying to help in the first place. Now, they can't say all of that to you when you get on the plane. They just say, remember when the oxygen mask drops down before you help someone else, be sure to put it on yourself first. Okay, let's go. But that's important advice with everything. If you are someone who provides care in any way, it could be a physical way. You could be a nurse. You could be providing care to the elderly, and you've got to lift people. You've got to clean people. You've got to talk to people in a way to get them to cooperate with you. That is a skill. Those of us who have cared for the elderly know that a lot of that is not just about, hey, stand up because we got to take a shower today. Like, that's not how you can work with people that are in that place. If you're caring for someone, you know that there's more to it than just the physical, right? So we've got to take care of ourselves. Yes, there is physical. There is picking somebody up. There is moving them around. There is holding babies. All right? There is herding kids if you're a teacher. There's all of that stuff that's physical. But there's the other stuff, these natural skills that you have that you may not acknowledge sometimes about helping people feel better about the situation that they're in, even if they don't want to be there. Caring for the elderly keeps coming up, but also working with children, working in an office full of curmudgeons. I've had that too. If you are someone that is the hub of a wheel of either family or social or work activity, you are no good in that situation if you're trying to be someone that's bringing light and lightness to lighten up your day to day, to lighten up my family when I wake up, to lighten up the classroom when I'm showing up to teach, to lighten up my office when I am there giving a presentation, to lighten up, my social groups when I'm there. I don't want to be the ones all the time. Then you've got to foster that internally. Okay? If you feel like you are one that has been sent here, as I do, I just do. I mean, it's not that I need to make everyone happy and entertain everyone. And it wound up being the role that I played in my family because my family was volatile and weird. And if I could make everybody laugh, then it was going to be a better energy than if everybody was sad. Right? Bad things would happen if the energy in the house was bad. So it felt natural for me to be the one to say, hey, everybody, let's lighten up. And I got really good at that. And I realized that I could affect people's energy as I moved throughout my life, not understanding that it was like a skill or anything. I just knew that there were some people that would come to me and say, after I've been standing in your office for a while, I always feel so much better when I leave. And it's not that you're solving my problems or anything. I just know that if I'm having, really, I had a coworker say this to my face. It's one of the things that really, because she would kind of wander by at least once a day and we would say hello and she'd tell me something, I'd tell her something and then she'd leave. Like it wasn't even, that we gossiped or anything. And she'd say, I feel like I have to come in here and talk to you at least once a day because when I leave, I feel so much better. It's like having a snack or something. And then we laughed and she left. And I thought, wow, I have a lot of people that come and see me. And then especially when I was a manager, I had a lot of people that would, and I realized that's part of my skill is being able to soothe and being able to tune people and being able to lighten them a little bit. And when I became more cognizant of it, then I knew how and where to direct it and started learning about that energy a little bit more. But if I do not take care of myself, if in that role, which I don't feel depletes me, I want to say that for sure, understanding that just means I am a conduit. It's like a garden hose, and I can be open, and I can allow people to receive what they need to receive, and then I go unscathed. I am not the kind that views, it's so draining for me. I've given you all of myself. When you visualize it that way, yeah, you're letting your batteries drain. But when you understand that you're an infinite being, and that takes a little tuning, then the oxygen never stops coming and you can give and help. That's exactly it. So when the oxygen is down, that's spiritually, that's where we're going. When the energy is well connected, when you are attuned in here, when you have taken the time when you're alone, carving that out, honoring yourself. This is what I need to be my best self, so that in every single one of these interactions, it's not my job to make these people feel better, but should they be receptive, I will be beaming enough out for whoever needs it, bring it on, right? I'm not saying that this isn't going to make me a target. Because we know that. We know when we've been bright and shiny and we walk into a room and somebody immediately like, I'm going to take this girl down a couple pegs. I'm just going to remind her that nobody here likes her and blah, blah. We've all been in situations like that. That was pretty much like junior high and high school for me. I'm going along feeling good about myself. I just want to sing songs. I just want to someone's got to go, you're fat. Like that's all it would take. Just destroy my light. But now I understand that I'm cultivating that light and it's shining so brightly at this point that somebody could just do that directly to my face and watch me laugh, baby. Watch me laugh, because all you just did was show me your wounds. Yuck. Shouldn't be showing your wounds to strangers like that. That's kind of rude. It's a whole different energy now. Because I have cultivated, I've given myself all the love. Goodness sakes, I've opened up a faucet of receiving. So my mask is firmly on. Therefore, even though I have been receiving a lot of negativity through my rectangle, the phone that I'm hanging up here, I like to call it the rectangle, because come on, how much do you actually use it as a phone? Why do we even call it that? It's like calling my car a stereo. You like my stereo with wheels? You like my phone? Whatever. My magical rectangle sends me a lot of negativity. However, I'm also tuned to my arm's length. And at my arm's length, I have a wonderful and loving family. I have a fantastic neighborhood. I have a beautiful town, fantastic city, an unbelievable state in which I live. And I can continue to make that broader in my mind, and I continue to feel the love within it because I've given myself the love to begin with, so that this rectangle can't be the mean girl that comes in and said, oh yeah, you're all love and light? Well, how about this monstrosity? How about this awful thing that's happened? How about these pictures that you never knew existed that now you get to see and they get to be part of that? And your psyche gets to go, really? Can you still call this a beautiful creation when you've seen that? And as a light worker that has fostered my light, I can say yes, because I know that that's just one tiny slice. And that you sent that one tiny slice to how many millions of people to try to make them feel bad about this construct. Well, guess what? I'm the light. I know that just the fact that I've seen it means someone's taking care of it. That's the first part of it. Now that we have seen something awful, we know that there's people like us that go, oh, there's nothing I can do. But there's also people seeing that going, yeah, you know why that picture's there is because we cleaned it up. Because me and Larry got in there and cleaned that up. Those are our photos. You know why we got those pictures there? So that we could tell people about it, so they can get in here and do things about it. And those that can will. They will. Okay? That's the faith. That's the hope. And it's not falsely placed faith and hope that just goes out into the ether and does nothing. No. We're talking about doing the real thing. Okay? We're talking about this time as light workers, being strong, knowing the truth, fostering our heart, that we can look at these things and saying, these things are getting done. That's why I'm seeing them. And I'm blessing them. And I'm sending love and light. And I'm moving on with my day unscathed. Ooh, because I know how to balance. Look at that temperance right there. I know how to balance. I know how to allow these things to come at me, all right, as I'm ready for them. I don't go digging for them, and I work through them as I see them. I find solutions where I can. I soothe others that start to talk about it as well, because they'll say, oh my God, did you see that video about that thing, that awful, awful thing? And I say, yes, I did see that video about that awful, awful thing. It was disturbing. Yes, it was. I sure am glad that that's going to get taken care of now. I sure am glad that I did a little extra research and found a step that I could take that could help this. Or I did a little extra research and found out it was all crap and that I was scared about nothing. What? You were scared about nothing? People will often they get so bound up in their upset that they don't even bother to take that next step. So come on, man. If you're spending how many hours a day making yourself deliberately upset on the phone, on your rectangle, then please at least allow yourself equal amount of time for the opposite. Hello. That's what temperance is. Okay, see the Queen of Cups? She's holding that beautiful cup full of the waters that represent her emotions. And here's the temperance card. And that temperance card is pouring those emotions back and forth to keep these two cups beautifully in balance. Again, not spending all day looking at these terrible things. If you feel that you need to connect yourself to it, spend a little time. But my goodness, spend an equal amount of time fostering the good stuff as well. You have to. Do you want to keep that light there for others? I mean, come on, really, it's for yourself. I know as moms and as caregivers and as people that love other people, it was my immediate thing to go, don't you want to help others? Why are you being so mean to yourself if you want to help others? It's kind of like tuning in for the marathon. I mean, really, if you're going to train for something big physically that was coming, or if you knew that there was a big physical challenge coming, wouldn't you train for that? Wouldn't you get ready for that? You wouldn't want to just go from blank to running a marathon. Even if it was just like, let's say I was going to do a 15-mile hike, I wouldn't go from never having done that to doing a 15-mile hike without at least having a little bit of conditioning in there. And that's what keeping it light is. How do you keep it light during times when it's just been ridiculous? Well, then spend equal amounts of time fostering that inner light, giving your heart and mind true meditative peace, at least for the same amount of time that you are consuming that which accomplishes the opposite. Dang. And oh, hey, and then the King of Pentacles. You have to set those boundaries. The Pentacles are all about the comfort in the world. You know, it's not just about money. Pentacles are about money, but money represents that energy of all that we are working towards. And what are we working towards if not my life is better? And sovereignty. That's a big part of what we're doing here is sovereignty of our own homes and our own households. Whew. So yeah, it could even be, hey, I realize, guys, that the news is going on, but once we get home, we're going to discuss, and go over some answers and feel a little better about whatever happened in the outside world today. But then we're setting a line, okay? And after X o'clock or after dinner or whatever it is that we're doing together as a family, the peace of the household is maintained, period. And I love that. The peace and the comfort is maintained because it's now kind of part of a household rule. Oh, that feels kind of good. Because what it made me think of is like back in the day when the family would get around the table and talk about their day and talk about problems and then kind of wrap that up, and everybody went off to either watch TV or go do homework or whatever. But they had this nice little common time in the evening to be able to work some of these things out, spread some light and say, hey, so what did you experience out in the outside world today? Okay. How does that compare to the family and how we run our household? Okay. Well, then what are some conclusions that we come to? Okay. Well, have a good evening, kids, right? And again, there wasn't a rectangle that was influencing that. They had school at school, friends at school, things at school, but then home and parents at home. And that's not the case anymore. We have so much information coming in from so many different sources that we've got to be more kings of that. We've got to be able to declare that personal space. However you choose to do that. Like lots of options are coming into my head where we're, limiting the amount of media during certain times, limiting certain places in the house where that's allowed. We've got a media room, we've got a computer room, maybe not in your room. Maybe you got to come out here when you're working on the internet, things like that. And guess who's allowed to set those rules? The king is. That's not one of the kids doing that. That's not the children setting those rules. And that's really important because we have, as a society, let the kids run rickshaw. And why? Because kids had money in their pocket. So the marketing companies just said, let's just teach them that because they have money in their pocket that they make the rules. And if they want to buy this, they can go buy it. And we'll teach that to them with commercials, and we'll teach that to them with weird little sitcoms where the parents are inept and the kids, suddenly don't have they live in a big apartment in New York City, and there's no parents. Like, what the hell? This is what we've been allowing to babysit our kids for quite some time. So we gotta, and I realize at this point some of us light workers may be grandmas, but we've got to understand this. We've got to see it for what it is now. Okay. And how do we see it? Well, especially when we're grandmas. We've been around a bit. Come on, people. This isn't our first rodeo. And this is for several things. This isn't your first rodeo from a life experience perspective. Yes, I can see how that happened. Yes, I can see how kids have kind of been allowed to make a lot of decisions about how a household was run. Shouldn't have been that way. I'm not saying it has to be like when we were kids where we had zero say, but now there's got to be a nice middle ground. And how do we find that middle ground? Well, we insist on that middle ground within our own households. That's really how we can do it. And maybe it's not that way at your household, but when you're at grandma's, rules are best. Okay? Because they've got to at least see an example. And I realize that in other households, it may be that the outside world can just impede at any time it wants to, but not here. Not here. Okay? And I'm pointing at my heart. That's where the Queen of Cups is. Because that household, especially if you're a head of a household, it's more than just, this is a building. This is a building that we built and we live in it and we sleep, and it's way more than that. This is my, this is my energetic sanctuary. Why? Because I said so, because I've done the work, because I have tuned myself. This 9 of Wands says, I can say so because I've done the work. I am respected when you come into the space because I've done the work. I have fostered the light. I can stay light because I fostered it. This household can stay light because I fostered it and because I insist that it stays that way. And we can do that energetically. That's our power as light workers and energy workers. We can charge our home to be a certain way. And how do we do that? We live joyously within it. And then when you see something come in that is not joyous, oh my gosh, it becomes so obvious. So we set those own rules at home. Right? That's the oxygen mask on the face. We set our own rules at home. That means when we're alone, we're sending love to our own heart. We're doing true meditative work. Like this feels like next level stuff. Hi, welcome to next level stuff. This is master's degree level light work here. This isn't just the beginning of, hey, how do you manifest a new car? Find another video. This is, hey, have you leveled up and now you're realizing that the outside world isn't maybe, and I'm saying that societally, isn't energetically at the level where you are resonating right now, and you want to hold your high vibration and maintain that for you, your loved ones, and your household, regardless of the shit that you see outside. Then hey, you came to the right video. And how can I declare knowing how to do that? Because I do it. Because this is my work. Because this is what I've worked on. And hey, guess what? There's someone here that can attest to that, Earl. Earl knows that I have tuned my house, my life, and all of that to the energy of light and movement forward and success. Don't you think so, Earl? Like I think Earl
I know so.
can attest to that.
I
because
totally can
because
attest
the
to
work's been done over a long period of time, not just the time that I've been doing, the reads. There's a lot that's gone up to this, and you have the ability to say the same thing. This isn't something that I started yesterday. This isn't that I suddenly looked outside, and I'm saying outside, but really it's more into the rectangle, that I looked at things on my phone and said, what, when did this happen? What? No, we've known this has been coming for a while. So again, where the last video was super serious about, okay, now we got to look at these dark things. This one is, and how are we maintaining the light and continuing to turn our face towards the light? Because this dark distraction is real, but we don't want it used as a weapon against us. That's right, because we're taking care of business. Don't try to guilt me, shame me, exhaust me, break me. Ooh, you are not going to break me. Because, ooh, look at this. 6 of Swords. We are moving from choppy water to smoother water. Look at that. And this is, what this card to me comes up often when there is someone that is escaping a really narcissistic relationship and they got to take the kids and pack their stuff and go. Like I called my sister and she helped me load the truck and we packed our stuff and go. And energetically, when it comes to this, again, this societal, this negativity, this pressure that we've been under, all this stuff, this awful stuff that we're seeing, we are literally like getting away from a narcissistic relationship. And what is a narcissistic relationship but a parasitic, right? Only one person is benefiting from this. That's what a narcissist is. He only wants to, and I'm saying she. And guess what? Not just individuals, entities, corporations are narcissists because they are doing everything by the numbers and it only benefits just a handful of people. And outcome, who really cares if nobody has clean drinking water? Who really cares if people lose their jobs? Who really cares? That is a narcissist. I mean, this is psychopaths that we're talking about here. And this is what we're moving away from. I mean, we can see that. Why can we see that? Because we've lived that in our lives. We've known individuals like that. And when we see a corporation act that way, when we see a group of people that all they have to do is put some numbers behind a cool little name and then start doing awful things to the environment, awful things to people, awful things in the name of just putting money in their pocket. That is what we are getting away from. It takes work. You see this wand? He's doing the work. But goodness sakes, look at how much work we've already done. Look how many wands are in our pocket already. Of where, I've seen this. I know this. I've seen this. So here's some more. Now I'm going to make it even darker for you so that you can know that you'll never come through this, light worker. And you can go, yeah, whatever. I'm just going to pack up my stuff and go. I'm realizing that the way I think and what I say are my most powerful assets in this. What am I taking with me? My swords as I leave this situation, as I look back over my shoulder and go, yeah, whatever. All you have done is teach me. You have taught me how not to get abused ever again. You have taught me how to think for myself. You have taught me how to get stronger. You have taught me how to recognize a narcissist. You have taught me how to recognize a corporation. You have taught me how to recognize an organization that likes to look me in the eye and say, oh, this is for your best interest. Meanwhile, you're stealing money from my pocket. You're stealing pieces from my soul. You're stealing my future. I don't have to be connected to this anymore. And we pull away and we do the work and we just get moving. Like that's exactly it. Because we've fostered our own household. We have made our heart nice and even. This doesn't become scary anymore. And yes, we can be ready for the next big crazy thing that's coming, because it's probably coming. But I'm going to be all, bring it on. It may rock me to my core, but I know that I have done everything that I can to hold my light, to hold my household's light, to hold my family's light, to hold my circle's light, to create more light, to continue to find joy, even in the face of someone telling me I shouldn't. Still finding joy. Still finding things to laugh at when it's not appropriate to laugh. That's one of those awful skills I got loaded with. But we can. That's our power. That is who we are. That's what light workers are. Oh, because we're near the end, guys. That's it. Oh, this 10 of Swords says that exhaustion that you feel, you know what I mean? That one time, again, the image of the baby coming through. When you're in labor and you're like, I don't know, this is it. I can't do this anymore. And they're like, yeah, but just like one more push. And you're going, no, I can't. This is the I can't. But I can't. And what is just on the other side of I can't? Guess what? You're through it. Guess what? You just got through it. Guess what? Brand new baby in your arms. Guess what? Brand new beginning. This is really, the 10 is the end of a cycle. Do you understand that? So that means it is the end of that for you. Embracing this means the end of the damage. Ooh, this is loading in. Give me just a second. Okay. The end, no, I'm saying that this is consciousness loading in. The end of the intended damage that it's supposed to do. Okay. So this is like putting up a shield. Does that make sense? This is like, why were you throwing so many darts at me? Well, I was trying to hit you with darts. Why are you trying to hurt me so much? Well, I'm trying to hurt you. Like that's really, why is all this evilness coming into my phone? Well, they're trying to just make you believe in nothing but evil. Okay. Well, it's the end of that. It is the end of me being even, what's the opposite of impervious? Me being pervious. It's the end of me being susceptible to the darts that you're throwing at me. Okay? It's the end of those even working on me anymore. Oh my God, I have just become immune to your poison. That's it. It doesn't mean the poison stops coming, but it does mean you are impervious to the poison so that you can see it for what it really is. You can identify the source of it and you can take out the source. That's nice. That's really, really nice. I really want to get that in there again. This makes you impervious to the poison. Okay? Not an immediate ending to the poison coming in. But when you stop reacting to the poison, you can then identify it. Oh, wait, that's more poison. Where is this coming from? Who is shooting this at me and why? And now you can take out the source of the poison. Why do we lighten up? To take out the source of the poison. I realize it's a long way. We started with the Queen of Hearts. Why do we lighten up? To take out the source of the poison. Why do we lighten up? To make ourselves impervious to the poison so that we can then locate it and take out the source of it. That seems like a long way, but hey, if A equals B and B equals C, then A's got to equal C, baby. The reason that we lighten up and care for this heart and really do the things that we say. Do you meditate? Yeah. But do you really? It's like brushing your teeth. You need to have a few moments each day, preferably, where no one's knocking on your door and you can just focus on breathing. Dear Lord, just let me focus on breathing. Why? Because it helps me lighten up, which eventually makes me impervious to the poison and takes out the one that's shooting the poison at us in the first place. This is important, and Tiny Tarot says it. I am low-key magical with a K, and I hope you can lighten up and have a magical rest of your day.